There's a place in Skyrim where the air itself hums with the echoes of forgotten souls, a realm so hauntingly beautiful, it feels like stepping into a dream you can't quite wake from. Welcome, traveler. Whether you're joining us under the pale glow of midnight or the soft light of dawn, we'd love to know where you're listening from and what time your journey into the Soul Cairn begins. Drop a comment below and let us share this eerie adventure together. Picture this: you stand at the edge of a world where the sky isn't sky at all, but a shifting tapestry of violet and black, streaked with ghostly lights that flicker like dying embers. The ground beneath your feet crackles with unseen energy, as if the very earth remembers the souls it swallowed. This is the Soul Cairn, a realm of the undead, where lost spirits drift like mist, and every whisper carries the weight of centuries. For the Dragonborn, this isn't just another quest. It's a descent into the unknown, a gamble with fate itself. One step forward, and the gates seal behind you. There's no turning back. What draws someone into such a place? Is it the promise of power, the lure of secrets buried in the whispers of the dead, or something deeper, a call that tugs at the edges of your soul? The Soul Cairn isn't just a dungeon to conquer. It's a story waiting to unfold, a puzzle wrapped in shadows. And as we venture deeper, we'll uncover not just the artifact that binds the Dragonborn's destiny, but the haunting beauty of a realm that exists between life and whatever lies beyond. So take a breath, steady your nerves, and let's step into the mist together. The Soul Cairn awaits, and its secrets won't reveal themselves to the faint of heart. The air hangs thick with the scent of ozone, and something older, something like bone, left too long in the sun. Every step sends up a fine cloud of that ashen dust, swirling around your ankles before settling back into uneasy silence. Those flickering lights ahead don't behave like fire or magic. They pulse irregularly, as if breathing, and the way they hover just beyond reach feels deliberate. Like they want to be followed, you pause, listening. The wind isn't wind here. It's a chorus of half-heard voices, a sigh that rises from the ground itself. Then it comes again, that shudder beneath your feet, the kind that makes your teeth ache. Not an earthquake, something moving, something hunting. Your fingers tighten around the hilt of your blade, but steel might not be enough here. The Soul Cairn doesn't play by the rules of the living. Shadows coil at the edges of your vision, and for a heartbeat, you swear the dust at your feet forms shapes, claw marks, footprints, things that weren't there a second ago. This isn't just a wasteland. It's a trap, and every instinct screams that the real danger isn't what you can see. It's what watches from the dark, patient as a grave. A spectral form flickers into existence before you, its edges bleeding into the mist like ink and water. The figure's hollow eyes glow with a sorrow so deep it makes your chest tighten. When it speaks, the voice isn't a sound. It's a dry rustle, the whisper of pages turning in a long-forgotten tomb. Turn back, it murmurs, the words curling around you like smoke. The cairn keeps its secrets jealously. The warning hangs in the air, thick as the dust underfoot. You catch a glimpse of something shifting in the distance, a shadow too tall, too angular to be natural. Guardians, the spirit calls them, not quite alive, not quite dead, but bound to this place by something older than memory. The choice settles over you like a weight. Do you trust this fractured echo of a soul? Its plea feels genuine, but the cairn thrives on deception. Every shadow here whispers half-truths, and even the dead might serve unseen masters. Yet pressing forward means stepping into a dance with those watchers in the dark. You've faced Draugr and dragons, but the creatures here don't fight like mortal foes. They unmake. They linger just beyond sight, their presence raising the hair on your neck. Then the spirit does something unexpected. It reaches out, not to strike, but to offer. A fragment of memory flashes in your mind, a path, twisted but clear, winding between the jagged obelisks. Is this a kindness or a trick? The cairn doesn't deal in mercy, but perhaps even the lost can recognize a kindred spark. Your fingers hover over your weapon, hesitating. The realm itself seems to hold its breath, waiting. One decision could mean the difference between facing an army of wraiths or walking a road paved with uneasy alliances. The spirit's hollow gaze never wavers. Choose, it seems to say, but choose knowing some doors, once opened, cannot be closed. The violet sky pulses above you, a silent witness. Whatever comes next, the Soul Cairn will remember. The path splits beneath your feet like an unspoken challenge. One fork bathed in an eerie, pulsating blue light, the other swallowed by shadows so thick they seem to ripple like black water. From the glowing path drifts a melody, thin and distant, a tune that tugs at something deep in your chest. It feels almost familiar, like a lullaby half remembered from childhood. But the darker path answers with whispers, voices tangled together in a chorus of longing and rage. They don't speak words, just emotions, raw and unfiltered, pressing against your mind like cold fingers. Your hand hovers at your side, torn between the two. The light feels safer, but safety in the Soul Cairn is an illusion. That melody could be a siren's call, luring you towards something that wears the shape of comfort, but hides teeth beneath. The shadows, though they don't bother with disguises, their honesty is as brutal as the hunger in those whispers. Every instinct screams that neither choice is without consequence. Then the ground trembles again, harder this time. From the darkness, a shape detaches itself, a specter, its form flickering like a guttering candle. It doesn't advance, only watches, its hollow eyes reflecting the blue glow from the other path. Almost expectant, as if it already knows what you'll choose. Do you follow the light, where answers might glimmer just out of reach? Or do you step into the dark, where the truth waits, sharp and unforgiving? The cairn doesn't offer mercy, only choices, and somewhere beyond these paths, the realm itself holds its breath, waiting to see which way the Dragonborn's will bends toward the solace of the unknown, or the terrible clarity of the unseen. Ahead, the bones rise like a monument to forgotten wars, their jagged edges fused together into arches that groan under the weight of centuries. This isn't just a structure, it's a prison of memory, a place where the dead reenact their final moments in an endless loop of clashing steel and silent screams. The air vibrates with the echoes of battle, the phantom scent of iron and sweat so thick it coats your tongue. You step forward, and the ground shifts beneath you, not earth, but the remnants of shattered shields, their edges still sharp enough to draw blood. The first specter appears without warning, its form flickering between a warrior in full armor and a skeletal husk, its sword raised in a strike that never lands. It doesn't see you, not yet. It's trapped in its own private torment, reliving a death it can't escape. But the others, their hollow eyes track your movement, their weapons trembling with restrained fury. The trick isn't to fight, it's to move, to weave between the ghosts like a shadow, timing your steps to the rhythm of their eternal combat. Stray too close, and a blade meant for a long-dead foe might find your throat instead. Hesitate too long, and the cairn's pull grows stronger, its whispers urging you to join the dance. You've faced Draugr, but these warriors aren't undead. They're unfinished, their rage so potent it stains the air. Then you see it, a glimmer deep within the bone-choked hall, something pulsing in time with your heartbeat, the artifact, the reason you came. But between you and it stands a figure taller than the rest, its armor etched with runes that drink the light. It turns, and for the first time, a specter truly sees you. The battle around you stutters, falters, as if the entire cairn holds its breath. This one remembers. This one waited. Its sword rises, not in repetition, but in purpose. The choice is yours. Draw your blade and risk becoming another echo in this cursed chorus, or find another way to slip through the cracks of a war that never ended. A spectral hand emerges from the gloom, fingers trembling like leaves in a storm, not with fear, but with the desperate energy of a mind that's spent centuries unraveling. The scholar's robes are tattered, their edges dissolving into mist, yet the eyes that meet yours burn with a clarity the other spirits lack. You seek the relic of the unseen. They murmur, voice cracking like parchment. I can show you the way, if you'll hear my plea. The words spill out in fragments, a story of hubris and hunger, a mortal who dared to map the cairn's secrets, only to become part of its tapestry. Their offer hangs between you, delicate as a spider's web. The clues they promise are etched into their very being, runes, flickering beneath their translucent skin, swirling like ink dropped in water. But the Soul Cairn doesn't give gifts freely. To aid the scholar means entering their unfinished business, a task that could tether you to this place as surely as it trapped them. The air grows heavier, thick with the scent of old parchment, and something sharper, ozone, or perhaps the metallic tang of a soul straining against its bonds. You glance past the scholar, where the cairn's jagged spires loom like accusing fingers. Distant wails rise and fall, a reminder that every choice here ripples through the realm. Trusting this broken historian might unveil the fastest path to the artifact, or it could be a snare woven from their desperation. The scholar sees your hesitation. You think me a liar, they whisper, clutching their chest where a heart once beat. Look then, with a shuddering breath, they tear open their spectral robe, revealing a hollow cavity where their soul should be. Not stolen, gifted, the artifact's mark glows there, a sigil pulsing in time with your own heartbeat. Now the choice is real, visceral. That sigil isn't just a clue, it's a piece of the very power you seek. But taking it would mean severing the last thread, binding the scholar to existence. Their voice drops to a murmur, barely audible over the whispering wind. I've held this knowledge too long, and my vigil, Dragonborn, carry the weight I cannot. The plea lingers, raw and unvarnished. No tricks, no illusions. Just a soul too weary to keep its grip on eternity. Your fingers twitch. Mercy or mission, compassion or cunning. The cairn watches silent as you weigh the cost of a kindness that might doom you both. The earth crumbles without warning, swallowing you whole as the weightless sensation of falling twists your stomach. Then impact, not pain, but a cold so sharp it steals your breath. You've landed in a cavern unlike anything in Skyrim. Its walls not of stone, but of glass-thin crystal, veins of violet light pulsing through them like frozen lightning. And within those walls, movement, faces, scenes, fragments of lives not yours, yet achingly familiar. A Nord woman sings to a child by firelight, her voice muffled as if underwater. A warrior crumples in the snow, his last breath curling into the air before the image shatters like ice. The cairn isn't just showing you memories, it's feeding on them. Each flickering vision leaves a residue in the air, a taste like burnt sugar and salt. Regret, longing, unfinished things. Your boots crunch on the cavern floor, and you realize it's not rock beneath you, but layers of fragmented mirrors, each shard reflecting a version of yourself you barely recognize. The Dragonborn, yes, but also the thief, the liar, the one who left villages burning in your wake because the ends justify the means. The reflections don't accuse. They simply are, and that's worse. Then the voice comes, not from the walls or the air, but from inside your skull, smooth as a blade slipped between ribs. You carry more than weapons, Dragonborn. It doesn't mock, it observes. Turn your gaze inward. The cairn demands tolls not of gold, but of truth. The crystals hum in response, their glow intensifying as the visions shift, now showing your memories. That innkeeper in Riverwood, who trusted you with his savings, only for bandits to raid the town hours after you left. The moment you traded a prisoner's freedom for a shout etched on a word wall. Small betrayals, perhaps, but the cairn magnifies them, lets them fester like wounds left untended. Your fingers curl into fists. This isn't combat. You can't shout or slash your way through shame. The voice whispers again, closer now. Denial is a chain. Break it, or remain here with the others who chose blindness. Around you, new shapes solidify in the crystal figures frozen mid-step, their faces twisted in defiance or despair. The ones who refuse to see. A memory surges forward unbidden, a child's hand slipping from yours in the chaos of Helgen, their terrified eyes meeting yours just before the dragon's fire swallowed them. You never looked back, never knew if they made it. The weight of it hits like a warhammer to the chest. The cairn doesn't care about redemption, only acknowledgement. The crystals vibrate, cracks spider, webbing up their surfaces as if the entire cavern waits for you to crumble too. But then, a choice. The voice offered no kindness, yet in its cruelty, there's a sliver of mercy. To walk forward, you must first kneel. Not in surrender, in recognition. The Dragonborn's greatest strength was never the thumb. It was the capacity to rise after falling. The crystals shriek as you press your palm to the nearest one, its surface burning with the cold of 1,000 winters. The child's face flares bright, then stills. I remember, you murmur, and just like that, the cavern exhales. The mirrors dissolve into mist, the path ahead clearing as the voice retreats, its final words lingering like a bruise. Burdens are lighter when carried openly. Proceed, but know the cairn is not done with you. The way forward lies open, but the taste of salt on your lips reminds you some truths, once spoken, cannot be unspoken. The real test has only begun. The bridge materializes from the mist like a waking nightmare, a shuddering path of writhing spirits, their translucent forms woven together in a grotesque imitation of wood and rope. Each soul strains against its bonds, mouths stretched wide in silent screams that reverberate through your bones rather than your ears. There's no railing, no safety, just the abyss yawning beneath you, its depths swallowing the faint glow of the cairn's false stars. The moment your boot touches the first spirit, the bridge shudders violently. A chorus of anguished moans erupts, not from the bridge itself, but from inside your skull, their pain echoing through your nerves like white-hot needles. You freeze, instinct screams to sprint, to minimize contact with the suffering beneath your feet, but the bridge reacts to your hesitation, its surface solidifying slightly, the soul's wails softening to whimpers. A realization crawls up your spine. This isn't just a test of balance, it's a scale. Every step is a negotiation between efficiency and empathy. Too much weight too quickly, and the spirits might unravel entirely, sending you plummeting. Too slow, and the cairn's creeping mist will devour the bridge behind you, leaving you stranded mid-chasm. Then comes the worst part, the whispers, not from the bridge, but from the abyss below. They don't deserve your pity, hisses a voice like grinding stone. Step hard, their pain is not your burden. Another voice, softer, slithers up. You could free them if you dare. The duality is vicious, tempting you toward callousness or recklessness, each with its own consequence. The Dragonborn's usual tools are useless here. No shout can steady this path. No weapon can silence the voices. You take another step, deliberately lighter this time. The spirit beneath your foot trembles, but its wail is shorter, quieter. A flicker of something like gratitude pulses through the connection, fleeting but undeniable. The bridge brightens momentarily, its glow strengthening. But the cairn doesn't reward kindness without cost. Ahead, the path twists unnaturally, the souls twisting into knots that force you to step on them rather than between. Their faces contort in fresh agony as you weigh your options. Detour, impossible. The bridge narrows to nothing on either side. Refuse to cross. The mist at your back is already dissolving the spirits you've passed. Ahead, a single soul glows differently brighter, almost welcoming. It shifts slightly, offering itself as a stepping stone with eerie resignation. The choice is cruel in its simplicity. Spare this one spirit by finding another way, or accept its sacrifice to preserve your momentum. The bridge groans, its integrity fraying with every second of indecision. The cairn watches, patient as a spider, to see what kind of predator or protector you'll become. The mist ahead coils into something solid, a figure that blurs at the edges, its shape never settling. One moment it looms like a towering Nord in ancient armor. The next it crouches low, claws scraping the ashen ground. Its eyes are voids, not empty but full, swirling with the same violet light that pulses through the cairn's veins. Yet it doesn't strike. Instead, it exhales, and the sound is like wind through a battlefield's worth of broken blades. Speak, it commands, though its jagged mouth doesn't move. What is heavier than a mountain, yet lighter than a feather? What drowns kings but cradles beggars? The riddle hangs between you, its words slick with dual meanings. The guardian's form shudders, its edges fraying like smoke. A warning, this isn't just a test of wit. The cairn doesn't crave cleverness for its own sake. It demands recognition. Your tongue feels thick with the weight of unspoken answers. Grief fits, but the guardian's hollow gaze sharpens, as if sensing the lie in that. Grief isn't lighter than a feather, not here, not in this place. Guilt, too simple. The spirits woven into the bridge behind you twitch at the thought, their silent cries thickening the air. The guardian tilts its head, waiting, then it clicks. The answer isn't a thing, but an absence. A promise, you say, the word leaving your lips like a confession. Unkept, the ground trembles not in anger, but in acknowledgement. The guardian's form stills, settling at last into something almost human. Its voice, when it speaks again, is softer, almost mournful. The cairn remembers every broken oath, even yours. A path materializes where none stood before, the mist parting like a curtain. But as you step forward, the guardian's final whisper follows you, clinging like frost. Beware, Dragonborn. The next question will be yours to answer. The implication lingers. Some truths are easy to name when they belong to others, far harder to voice when they're your own. The obsidian altar rises from the ground like the claw of some long-buried beast, its surface etched with runes that drink the dim light of the cairn rather than reflect it. At its peak, the artifact hovers a jagged shard of crystal, throbbing with a rhythm that matches your own pulse. It calls without sound, a pull that starts in your teeth and travels down to your bones. But as your fingers stretch toward it, the air itself recoils. A shudder runs through the realm, deep and guttural, as if the Soul Cairn has taken its first breath in centuries. The spirits don't just scream, they unravel. Their forms stretch thin, their voices tearing apart into dissonant echoes that shred the air. The ground beneath you splinters, cracks racing outward like lightning, and for the first time, you see what lies beneath the ashen surface. Not earth, not stone, a writhing, seething mass of half-formed faces, their mouths gaping in endless hunger. The cairn isn't just resisting you, it's waking up. You lunge for the artifact, but the altar fights back. The obsidian bleeds, thick rivulets of black ichor snaking up your arms, cold as the void between stars. It doesn't burn. It dissolves, eating away at your resolve as much as your flesh. The spirit's wails crystallize into a single, suffocating command: mine. The word isn't spoken. It's carved into your mind, each letter a fresh wound. Then the first spire falls. A jagged monument of bone and shadow collapses inward, crushing the space where you stood moments ago. The cairn isn't just collapsing, it's closing, folding in on itself like a fist around a stolen secret. You twist away as another spire implodes, its fragments dissolving midair into swarms of keening wraiths. The artifact pulses brighter in your grip, its light searing your palm, but the pain is nothing compared to the realization crashing over you. This wasn't a theft. It was a trade. The cairn let you take the relic because it's hungrier for what you carry. Your memories, your regrets, the unshaped fragments of your soul still clinging to the light. The path behind you is gone. The sky fractures like ice under a boot. And as the world disintegrates, the artifact thrums with a terrible, joyous energy, as if it knows the truth you're only beginning to grasp. Some doors don't lead back. They only open deeper. The mist parts like a curtain, and there, standing between you and the trembling artifact, is a face you never thought you'd see again. The armor is rusted, the skin ashen, but the eyes, those are unmistakable. You shouldn't be here, they whisper, voice frayed at the edges like old parchment. The words hit harder than any blade. This isn't just another specter. It's them, the one who fell at your side in the siege of Whiterun, the one whose name you carved into the Hall of the Dead, with hands still sticky with their blood. Their form flickers, unstable, tethered to the cairn by threads of violet light that pulse like a slow, sick heartbeat. Take it, and the cairn claims us both. They murmur, lifting a translucent hand toward the artifact. The moment your gaze flicks to it, their fingers convulse not in threat, but in pain. The relic's glow intensifies, and their edges blur, dissolving momentarily before reforming. The connection is horrifyingly clear. The artifact isn't just power, it's their anchor. Remove it, and whatever's left of them unravels entirely. The ground beneath you groans, echoing the conflict twisting your gut. This isn't just a choice between mission and mercy. It's a test, the cairn designed with cruel precision. That battle-hardened voice in your head snarls to move, to prioritize the living over the dead. But then they speak again, softer now, the way they did that night by the fire before everything went wrong. Remember the stars over Lake Ilinalta? You said they were guideposts. Well, I'm lost, brother/sister, and this is the only map I have left. The plea is raw, stripped bare, no manipulation, no grand speeches, just a soul clinging to the last shred of what it was. Silence stretches, thick with the weight of unspoken goodbyes. The artifact's pulse quickens, sensing your hesitation. Around you, the cairn holds its breath, the whispering wind stills. The drifting souls pause mid-moan. Even the guardian's distant gaze feels heavier, as if the entire realm waits to see what the Dragonborn truly values. Victory, or the fragile, fading echo of a promise made under different stars. Your hand hovers, the artifact thrums, its light casting jagged shadows across their face, their real face, not the ghostly mask the cairn forced onto them. For a heartbeat, you see them as they were, laughing, alive, tossing you a healing potion with that infuriating smirk. The memory is a knife to the ribs. The mission brought you here, but the cairn knew exactly what it would cost. Choose, they whisper, not a demand, a release, and in that moment, you understand the true nature of the Soul Cairn. It doesn't just trap souls, it traps choices. Every step, every sacrifice, every whispered plea left unanswered. They all linger here, festering in the mist. The artifact could save the world, but pulling it free means leaving behind the one person who ever made you question what the world was worth saving for. The air crackles, charged with the agony of a decision. No shout can shatter, no blade can cut through. Some wounds never close, they just bleed differently. The sky splits open with a sound like tearing flesh, and the air itself recoils as the master of the cairn descends. It isn't a form so much as a presence, a shifting mass of shadow and sorrow that pulls the light from the air, leaving only the afterimage of 1,000 anguished faces swirling in its wake. When it speaks, the voice isn't a single sound, but a cacophony. The last words of the betrayed, the dying gasps of the forgotten, all woven into a single, terrible question. Why do you trespass where even gods fear to tread? Your sword feels like a child's toy in your grip. The master doesn't laugh at the blade. It simply ignores it, the steel passing through its form like wind through a sieve. This isn't a foe to be fought with arms. The cairn has already tasted your regrets, your memories. It knows the weight of every life you've taken, every promise left to rot. Now it presses that knowledge against your ribs like a knife, demanding an answer not to its question, but to the one you've been avoiding. What makes your soul worth more than the ones you've left behind? The ground beneath you writhes with half-formed hands, their fingers brushing your boots not to drag you down, but to listen. The master's gaze is relentless, its silence louder than any shout. You could lie, you could spin tales of destiny, of the world's need, of the greater good, but the cairn doesn't deal in abstracts. It craves the raw, bleeding truth, the kind that stings your tongue as you force it out. So you speak, not of glory, but of the village you failed to save, not of power, but of the faces that still haunt your dreams. The words come haltingly at first, then faster, as if the cairn's pressure has punctured some dam inside you. The master doesn't interrupt. It absorbs, its form flickering with each confession, the swirling faces softening for the briefest moment. Then it does something unexpected. It leans in, its voice dropping to a whisper that vibrates in your teeth. You carry your dead as I carry mine, it murmurs almost gently. But tell me, Dragonborn, when the weight grows too heavy, who will carry you? The question hangs in the air, thick as smoke. The answer isn't in words. It's in the way your fingers tremble, the way your breath hitches at the memory of hands you can no longer hold. The master exhales and the cairn shudders with it. The judgment isn't a pardon, it's a mirror. It shows you not as a hero or a thief, but as something infinitely more fragile, a mortal, aching and alive, standing at the edge of the abyss and refusing, against all odds, to let go. The path ahead clears, not because you've won, but because you've understood. Some battles aren't fought with steel. They're fought in the quiet spaces between heartbeats, in the unspoken truth that even the damned can recognize. The master's form blurs, retreating into the mist, but its final words linger like a scar. Go, but know the cairn remembers, and so now do you. The artifact pulses in your grip, no longer cold, but burning with a feverish energy that seeps into your veins like liquid fire. What you first thought was crystal is now shifting, its edges blurring as if struggling to hold a shape too vast to contain. Then the visions come, not fragments this time, but a flood. A city of spiraling towers bathed in golden light, a chorus of voices raised in worship, then darkness, jagged and hungry, swallowing it all in a single breath. The artifact isn't just a relic, it's a wound, a scar left by something that refused to die quietly. The truth crashes over you. This isn't power to be wielded. It's a lock, and you've just put your hand on the key. The whispers around you grow frenzied, the spirits recoiling as the artifact's light fractures into colors that shouldn't exist, hues that twist the eye and slither behind your eyelids even when you blink. The cairn itself seems to shudder, the ground splitting with a sound like 1,000 bones snapping in unison. Something is waking, not the half-formed wraiths you've battled, but a presence older than the mountains, older than the very idea of gods. A voice booms from nowhere and everywhere, shaking your ribs like a drum. Mortal, you carry what was never meant to be held. The words aren't spoken, they're imprinted, etching themselves into your mind with the weight of centuries. The artifact convulses, its surface cracking to reveal not emptiness, but eyes, swirling with the same violet storm as the cairn's sky. They blink, and in that moment, you don't just see the forgotten god, you feel it, a consciousness vast as the ocean and just as merciless, pressing against the fragile barrier of the artifact's prison. The weight of your quest, twists into something darker. This isn't about stealing power anymore. It's about a choice even the Daedra might fear. Leave the artifact here, and let the cairn continue its slow feast on the trapped divine. Or take it, and risk becoming the one who opens the door for something that remembers neither love nor wrath, only hunger. The spirits around you aren't attacking. They are pleading, their hollow faces turned upward as if awaiting a verdict. Then the artifact speaks not with words, but with a surge of understanding that floods your mind like ink in water. It shows you the god's last moments, not a battle, not a betrayal, but a sacrifice. It let itself be bound, not out of weakness, but because its freedom would have unstitched the world. The revelation is a blade to the gut. The scholars, the legends, even the Daedric princes, they were all wrong. This isn't a treasure, it's a tomb, and you're standing at the threshold, one decision away from becoming either the jailer or the last key. The cairn holds its breath. The violet sky darkens, the false stars winking out one by one, as if even they dare not witness what comes next. Your fingers tighten around the artifact, its edges biting into your palm like teeth. There's no victory here, only a choice between two kinds of damnation: to leave a god in chains, or to set it loose upon a world that's already forgotten how to fear it. The weight of that truth settles on your shoulders, heavier than any dragon's roar, and in the silence, the only question left is this: which sin will you carry out of this place? The whispers become screams. The drifting specters, once scattered like ash on the wind, snap toward you in unison, their hollow eyes igniting with violet fire. They don't just move, they converge, their forms stretching and merging into a swirling vortex of anguish, a storm of souls with teeth bared and fingers hooked into claws. The artifact burns hotter in your grip, its light searing through your flesh, as if trying to brand its shape into your bones. The cairn's haunting beauty peels away like rotting parchment, revealing the truth beneath. This isn't a realm. It's a digestion, a slow, centuries-long feast where every soul is both prisoner and sustenance. The choice is brutal in its simplicity: stand and fight, and risk the artifact shattering under the weight of their fury, or run and let the cairn's hunger chase you through the collapsing labyrinth of its ribs. But there's a third option, whispered by the scholar's fading voice in the back of your mind. Listen, not to the screams, but to the spaces between them. The vortex hesitates just before it strikes, its edges fraying like threadbare cloth. These aren't mindless attackers, they're terrified. The artifact's removal isn't just theft, it's amputation. Without it, the cairn's delicate balance crumbles, and the spirits know what comes next. Not freedom, but dissolution. You see it then, the flaw in the master's design. The artifact isn't just a lock, it's a chain, and every soul here clings to it like a drowning man to splintered wood. The vortex trembles, its rage flickering into something raw and desperate. A hand emerges from the chaos not to strike, but to plead. The face it belongs to is indistinct, worn smooth by time, but the emotion is unmistakable: recognition. They know you, not as thief or savior, but as kin. Another lost thing, stumbling through the dark. The ground beneath you liquefies, the ashen soil turning to thick, clinging tar that bubbles with half-formed faces. The cairn isn't just attacking, it's unmaking itself. Spires of bone crumble like sandcastles. The sky, fracturing into jagged shards that rain down in slow, eerie silence. The artifact's pulse quickens, its rhythm syncopating with your heartbeat, no longer fighting you, but resonating. A terrible understanding dawns. The relic isn't just a key. It's a mirror, and the Dragonborn's soul, with all its scars and stubborn light, is the only thing holding the door shut. The vortex howls, but the sound changes mid-cry, shifting from fury to something like relief. The spirits don't lunge. They lean, their forms dissolving into streams of violet, mist that spiral around you, not to harm, but to witness. The artifact's glow softens, its edges blurring as if melting into your very skin. The cairn holds its breath. The choice was never fight or flight. It was always remember or ruin, and in the end, even the damned can recognize a kindred spark when it flickers in the dark. The last spire falls, the sky goes still, and for the first time in centuries, the Soul Cairn is silent. The rogue spirit materializes from the gloom like smoke given shape, its edges fraying, reforming, never quite solid. There's something different about this one. No hollow-eyed resignation, no endless loop of torment, just a razor-sharp focus that pins you where you stand. You want out, it rasps, voice like wind through dead leaves. I know a way, but the cairn listens, so we move quick. Its form flickers toward a narrow fissure in the bone-strewn wall, a crack you'd have missed without its guidance. Too tight for comfort, too perfect for coincidence. This isn't help, it's a transaction. The spirit's desperation clings to every word, its translucent fingers twitching toward the artifact at your hip. It doesn't want to steal it. It wants to use it, to carve a door where none should exist. The plan spills out in fractured whispers. Distract the guardians with a burst of the relic's power, just long enough to slip through the cairn's weakening seams. Simple, terrifying, and utterly reliant on trusting a creature whose name you'll never know. The first test comes too soon. A guardian's shadow looms at the edge of your vision, its jagged form pulsing with that same violet hunger as the master. The spirit goes rigid beside you. Now, it hisses, but the artifact doesn't respond to your grip, it resists, its light dimming as if recoiling from the deception. The guardian's head snaps toward the anomaly. The spirit swears, an actual curse, ragged and human, before seizing your wrist with surprising solidity. Its touch burns like dry ice, but the urgency in its grip is unmistakable. Think of home, it snarls, not the place, the feeling. The cairn feeds on longing. Give it a taste. You grit your teeth and oblige. Not Whiterun's sturdy walls, not the scent of juniper over a campfire, just the weightless relief of belonging somewhere. The artifact shudders, its light flaring brighter than ever. The guardian recoils, blinded. The spirit yanks you forward, its laughter a bare, broken thing. See, you're learning, but trust is a currency that devalues fast in the Soul Cairn. The fissure yawns ahead, its edges glistening with something too thick to be missed. The spirit hesitates at the threshold, its form wavering. That's when you notice the thin, glowing tether around its ankle, a chain woven from the same violet energy as the cairn's sky. It's not just escaping, it's cheating, and the guardians don't take kindly to thieves. The spirit meets your gaze, and for the first time, you see the fear beneath its cunning. They'll come for me either way, it murmurs, but you might just make it. Go, and if you remember nothing else, remember they lie, all of them, even the nice ones. Then it shoves you hard, sending you stumbling into the fissure just as the guardians descend. Their shrieks follow you through the twisting dark, but the spirit's final whisper lingers longer. Tell the stars I almost made it. The crack seals behind you with a sound like a sigh. You're alone again, but not unchanged. The ground trembles with the weight of something ancient stirring, not beneath your feet, but within them, as if the very earth remembers the shape of your sins. Then it rises, a colossus of smoke and sorrow, its form stitched together from fragments of every soul that ever stumbled into the cairn's grasp. Faces press against its surface, mouths frozen mid-scream, eyes wide with recognition. They know you, not your name, not your deeds, but the shape of your regrets, the ones you whisper to the dark when you think no one is listening. The guardian doesn't speak. It echoes, its voice a chorus of every plea, every broken promise, every I should have left rotting in the silence. Leave the relic, it breathes, and the words slither through your veins like ice water. Walk away, carry only what you brought. The offer hangs in the air, deceptively simple, but the cairn doesn't deal in kindness. This isn't mercy, it's a test. The guardian's hollow chest splits open, revealing not a heart, but a vortex, swirling with scenes of those who tried to refuse its bargain. A knight clutching his sword, as his armor fills with centuries of another man's grief. A mage crumbling to dust, her fingers still twitching toward the artifact she couldn't bear to abandon. The message is clear. Some burdens break you slowly. Yet the artifact pulses against your hip, its rhythm frantic now, as if it senses the precipice. Take it, and the guardian's sorrows become yours not as memory, but as weight. Every soul the cairn ever claimed will hitch itself to your shadow, their whispers threading through your thoughts forever. But leave it, that's the cruelest jest of all. The relic isn't just power, it's a cage, and inside it, something stirs. The guardian tilts its head, watching you with borrowed eyes. Choose, it murmurs, and for the first time, the chorus fractures. A single voice, raw and human, breaks through. Don't let them out. The truth crashes like a wave. This isn't about escape. It's about sacrifice. The Dragonborn came to steal a tool, but the cairn demands a keeper. The guardian's form shudders, its edges dissolving not from weakness, but anticipation. It already knows what you'll do. Legends are built on choices like these. The moment a hero becomes something more, or something worse. The artifact's light flares, searing your skin. No more time, no more lies, just the question that matters. Will you bear the weight of the dead to spare the living? Or will you let the world face what even the cairn fears? The guardian's smile is the last thing you see before the storm of souls descends. The storm isn't wind or rain. It's the cairn itself screaming, its fabric unraveling stitch by stitch as the artifact thrums in your grip like a living thing. Violet lightning forks across the shattered sky, illuminating the truth. This isn't a realm, it's a wound, and you're standing at its infected heart. The relic burns hotter, its light searing patterns into your vision, not runes, but memories. A city swallowed by mist, a god's last breath, crystallized into this jagged shard. The weight of it staggers you, not in your arms, but in your soul. Every instinct screams to hurl it away, but your fingers won't unclench. They can't. The artifact has tasted your blood now. It knows you. The choice isn't between power and sacrifice. It's between two kinds of fire. Seal the cairn, and its hunger dies with it. but so does every soul trapped here, their whispers cut off mid-plea. Harness the relic's power, and you become the lockpick to a door that should never open. The ground beneath you splits, not with cracks, but with mouths, their whispered warnings thick as tar. You don't know what you hold. They are right. The artifact pulses faster, its rhythm syncing with your heartbeat. It's not just reacting to you, it's rewriting you, etching its purpose into your bones. Then the storm stills, not from peace, but anticipation. The master's voice slithers through the silence, frayed at the edges. You feel it, don't you? The moment before the arrow strikes, the breath before the shout. This is your pivot, Dragonborn. The Cairn's fate is already written. Yours is still ink on the page. The words coil around you, suffocating and sweet. A lie wrapped in truth. The artifact could be controlled. Maybe, if you let it hollow you out first. Your palms sting where the relic's edges bite into flesh. Blood beads, but instead of dripping, it floats, drawn toward the swirling vortex above. A mirror of the hunger pulsing inside the artifact. The realization hits like a warhammer. This isn't just about choosing. It's about surviving the choice. Wield the relic, and you bind yourself to something older than dragons. Destroy it, and the backlash could unravel the threads of your own soul. The first fracture appears in the artifact's surface, a hairline split that sings like breaking glass. Through it, you see her, the scholar, their forms stretched thin as they strain against the chains of the cairn, not pleading, not even afraid, just waiting. Their fingers brush the crack from the other side, and for a heartbeat, their voice cuts through the storm. Some locks exist for a reason. The ground lurches. The vortex overhead convulses, vomiting shards of crystallized memory, scenes of a world before the cairn, when the artifact was forged not as a weapon, but as a sacrifice. The last piece of the puzzle clicks. The god didn't resist imprisonment. It asked for it. The relic's glow turns feverish, its light branding your skin as the truth sears into you. This power was never meant to be taken. Only born, the storm screams, the artifact shudders, and in the eye of it all, you finally understand the Dragonborn's true purpose. Not to conquer, but to choose. Not for glory, but for the terrible, quiet weight of knowing what comes next. The cairn holds its breath, the artifact's light gutters, and your fingers, bloodied, trembling tighten. Not to wield, to hold, to endure. The choice was never about power. It was about becoming the kind of person who could carry the consequences. The last thing you see before the light consumes everything is the scholar's smile, sad, proud, and unbearably human. Then the world turns white. The air of Skyrim hits your face like a forgotten promise, sharp with pine and snow, yet somehow thinner than before, as if the world itself has frayed at the edges during your absence. The artifact at your hip doesn't just weigh on your belt. It presses against your ribs like a second heartbeat, its pulse out of sync with your own. You tell yourself the whispers are just the wind through the mountains, but the truth is written in the way your fingers twitch when the shadows stretch too long at dusk. The Soul Cairn didn't let you leave unchanged. It carved its name into your bones. You expected relief. Instead, there's only the quiet, gnawing awareness that the sky above isn't just sky anymore. It's a lid, thin and fragile, and beneath it, something stirs. The artifact thrums in response, not with menace, but with a terrible, knowing resonance. It remembers, and now, so do you. Every step away from that realm feels like a betrayal of the faces you left behind, the scholar's resigned smile, the rogue spirit's last laugh, the guardian's borrowed eyes. They are not gone. They're folded into the relic's glow, their voices humming just beneath the surface of your thoughts. Night falls differently now. The stars don't just shine, they watch, their light tinged violet at the edges, as if the cairn's hunger has seeped into the very fabric of the world. You catch yourself listening for whispers in the rustle of leaves, for the creak of bone underfoot where there's only snow. The artifact's presence is a thread, tugging you toward a truth you're not sure you want to unravel. Some doors don't close. They only wait, and yet there's power in that wait. Not the kind shouted from mountaintops or etched into dragon bone, but the quiet strength of a soul that stared into the abyss and refused to blink. The cairn tested you, yes, but it also revealed you. The Dragonborn came seeking a tool. They left carrying a legacy. The whispers will never fade, but neither will the fire they lit in you, the one that burns brighter for having known the dark. So you walk, not away, but forward, the artifact's pulse a constant reminder. The greatest battles aren't fought with blades, but with the choices we make after the dust settles. The cairn's melody lingers, yes, a haunting, yes, but also a harmony. And somewhere between the silence and the song, you find the courage to answer it.